Welcome to the Magic Lighthouse with Violet Combs. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. I am so grateful that you're here listening to this podcast, that you're part of this community. So while we're here, if you haven't already subscribed or followed the Magic Lighthouse Podcast, please do so now. And if you're liking what we're doing here, please share it with people in your life that you love, that you would love to share new ideas with, spiritual concepts with, etc. And I'm really excited to introduce our next guest today with you. And I wanted to let you know that in this episode, we do use some adult language. So if you have little ears around you, just to keep that in mind, maybe use some headphones. In this episode, we talk about Kelly Pender's podcast, The Badass Babe Oracle. We talk about her spiritual awakening, how her experience becoming a mother, and as a mother who went through so much hardship throughout her process, you'll hear about it in the episode, how that helped her grow, how that helped her be where she is now, sharing her voice. And she gives us her amazing, surefire way to become unapologetically you, how to speak your voice, how to stand in your truth, how to find your core of who you are. This is a really powerful, potent episode, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the Magic Lighthouse. Today we have on Kelly Pender. Her work provides an energetic permission slip for you to step into who you authentically are and who the fuck you came here to be. She's a yoga teacher of 10 years turned spiritual mindset coach, hypnotherapist, and EFT tapping practitioner who has worked with hundreds of women to help them create an unstoppable mindset, energetically embody their inevitable success, and live unapologetically. She's the founder of the Badass Babe community, Ultimate Spiritual Self-Development Hub, and Badass Babe Oracle podcast host. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And thank you for that beautiful intro.
Of course. So before we dive into the conversation, I would like to ground together between you and I, and those beautiful souls who are listening to us. So let's all close our eyes. If you're in a safe place, take a big deep breath in and let that breath out. We're going to take a couple more. Take a deep breath in and hold it at the top. Being receptive to any insights and wisdom that's meant for you during this podcast episode, and let that breath out, visualizing everything that doesn't serve you just falling away. And one more deep breath in, holding it a little longer than before, calling in all of our angels and guides, our support beings, higher selves, giving thanks to God, the universe, for this beautiful life. And let that breath out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, wiggle your toes and your fingers, fully present and awake, ready to receive from this amazing conversation.
That felt so good. I just wanted to stay there.
Well, you're in luck because I host online Reiki guided meditations every month, and I have my YouTube channel, have my other episodes, so we can go back and we can do more. So what's something you're excited about?
Oh my gosh. What am I excited about? So
Just throw you a curveball right there.
I love it. No, this is cool. So currently I have this new perspective on how I am choosing to view life. And this has been coming through like very strongly. And I don't know, there's something about this month of March And this came through on my podcast. I do soul guidance message of the month. And this came through with one of the oracle cards. And it was like how we get to choose to view our lives and how we have been viewing our lives based on other people's perceptions, other people's stories, other people's beliefs. And this like new invigorating energy has been coming in of how I get to choose to view my life, what my beliefs are, how I desire to live my life. And so that's been like lighting me up a lot recently, because this is all something that we either know or we are new to. And it's just like a very nice reminder to hear again and again and again. And for me, I like to hear this every day, like, this life is yours and you get to choose to create it and you get to choose to live it and you get to live your life on purpose rather than living life for other people, rather than let me express myself or show up in a way that I think I should to please others or make other people happy or keep other people comfortable. And it's just like this new energy of March. For me, I've been feeling it very strongly and sharing this with others. It's like, how the fuck do I want to live? How do I want to feel? What is it that I want to call in for myself? What is it that I desire? And that just feels really good to prioritize yourself, kind of like what we were talking about before we hit record with mom guilt and how I had that episode before. It's like, I get to put myself first and I get to feel good and I get to choose to feel good. So that's been something that's really been like lighting me up. It's like this renewed, invigorating energy.
Powerful and resonates. Definitely. I think that a lot of people will resonate with that. I was just talking to my friend yesterday and she was telling me about how stuff with the stars, astrology, Pisces is in Saturn or something. I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. But that we're like entering this new phase 2 to 3 years where it's like no longer where we can procrastinate what we desire. Now it's time to take action, and like now the universe is like fueling those actions and those desires, and now it's like we're stepping into what our potential is rather than being like kind of frustrated or like wanting to or being able to see it but not being able to take the right actions or feeling kind of stuck, if that makes sense. So, and you are already very connected. I just love how you channel your podcast episodes and you're just like, you're with it. So it's really cool.
Thank you. And like when you say that, it's like, for me, I just want to share for those who are listening, because a lot of people right now, like with that energy of, okay, you're being called to travel a path that's maybe unknown or uncertain. You're being pulled in a different direction. And for so many of us, we're like waking up to who we truly are. And I know a lot of people are very curious with spirituality and very curious. And so what I want to share is those like nudges, those impulses that you're having, follow them. Let yourself be led by your curiosities. And so many people right now are really starting to become more in tune with their intuition. And what I wanted to share, because you said, like, I love how you channel. Thank you. And something to remind myself again every day is when I hear or see or feel these callings, trust yourself to share them and trust yourself to explore them. Because what's on the other side is the magic, is where you get to open up and really step into your soul purpose and embody all of your gifts that your soul came here to share and express with the world. So there's this big message of trust with that piece that you said about astrology and what's shifting for us.
You mentioned like people are waking up. Can you share a little bit about your awakening and what that was like and how that led you to where you are now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So love this question, love spiritual awakenings. And I always share this. So, I mean, even right now, I'm going through another spiritual awakening. So I want to share that so many of us think like, okay, you just have one spiritual awakening and it just activates and you're good to go from there. I feel that we have spiritual awakenings every effing day, every effing moment. It's just almost like how open and aware you are of what is happening for you. And so feeling this nudge, this intuition of like, maybe this isn't the job that you should be at. Maybe you should go this way or sign up for this course or sign up for this program. And I've had these little baby spiritual awakenings of like being pulled in certain directions or feeling like people don't get me, people don't understand me. Maybe I should let go of relationships or friendships. So when I say little spiritual awakenings, I mean little as in we can have them. But when we are just busying ourselves going through the day to day, we may not be aware of those spiritual awakenings because they're softer. So I was having those. And then all of a sudden I had a bam, slap you in the face, spiritual awakening. Holy shit. This is like the hardest moment of my life. And so what I want to share is that this doesn't happen to everyone. So please don't be fearful that your spiritual awakening is going to be like so hard and heavy. It doesn't always have to be. It was for me, this massive one. So mine was getting pregnant for the first time, finding out that it wasn't viable, then finding out that it was a molar pregnancy, then going through that whole healing process, blood drawn every week, every month for 10 months, fear of abnormal cells turning into cancer. It was just terrible. And so going through that, this was a time in my life where I felt my feelings and emotions, but I didn't fully feel them. I didn't feel them to the extent where it's like, okay, there's a lesson on the other side. There's magic on the other side. I didn't know that because I was in the shit of it. So I continued to feel the shit, right? I brushed my feelings under the rug. I brushed my desires under the rug. When people asked me if I was okay, I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. And I would just numb myself out with wine and weed for months and months and months, acting like I was okay. Let me move on. Let me move forward. Let me live my life. Little did I know I was in so much pain. I was just suppressing that with busying myself. So after, I don't know how many months, I was like, I don't fucking feel good. And I don't want to live this way anymore. So finally, I started to feel my feelings. Finally, I started to take baths, which I was so resistant to baths because I was like, ugh, baths aren't self-care. Like that's just what other people say. So I started to take Epsom salt baths and crystal baths, and I made it like this really nice, enjoyable experience. In those baths, I started to feel my feelings. And in those baths, something happened, like a portal opened where I was able to connect to my angels and guides. And I just received these messages and I started to hear things. And instead of being like, no, that's silly. No, you didn't hear that right. I trusted it and I followed it. And the more that I started to follow what was coming my way, the more that this like activation within me of my skills, my gifts that my soul came here to share with the world really started to like, I don't know, like pop off. And for once in my life, I wasn't really scared to follow that anymore. And it's most likely because I already felt so fucking shitty. It was like, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to prove. Like, what else could go wrong? Let's just follow this. And what I want to share is that before this slap you in the face spiritual awakening happened, I was teaching yoga full time and I was starting to hear these downloads and hearing these insights. And I felt so called to share, but I stopped myself because I was like, no one wants to hear that. No one cares what I have to say. This is silly. This isn't what you're supposed to do, quote unquote. So I shut it down. Right. And then this slap in the face spiritual awakening came which in turn activated, no, you're meant to share what's on your mind. You're meant to share what's on your heart. And so slowly but surely, I followed that. I allowed myself to follow that path of uncertainty of, I don't know what the fuck is on the other side, but I have nothing to lose. So here we go. And then once I started to really receive these messages, I felt the pull to start my podcast. I felt the pull to start the Badass Babe community. And from there, I just finally felt led by my angels, by my guides, by my intuition, by my higher self. And I started to open up to what wanted to be birthed through me instead of resisting it. And so the way I'm sharing this, it sounds like this happened overnight. It didn't. This was like months and months and months and months of just healing and feeling, right? And being led. So I'm sharing this with you that when you are feeling a certain way, explore your feelings. Let them be seen and heard, because the more that we resist them, the stronger and stronger and stronger they get until they freaking implode and explode. And your feelings and emotions are meant to be seen and heard, right? They don't have power and control over you unless you give them power and control. We can feel our feelings, let that energetic charge be released so that then we can break free and move forward in our lives in a way that feels good for us and move forward in the way that we are meant to. So I just wanted to share that with my spiritual awakening, everything that happened, these shifts didn't happen overnight. And like I just shared with you with that message that came through in March from the soul guidance, these are reminders I do need to hear every single day that keeps me in the path in alignment with my higher self, instead of that takes me back down into my safety identity, which is living my life in a way that keeps other people comfortable and protects me from fear, from criticism, from judgment, right? So these are reminders every single day that you get to receive to follow the path that's meant for you, and that's in alignment with your higher self. So that first one, I now have the infinity tattoo because that first pregnancy, the molar one that started my spiritual awakening, what was so interesting is that when I went in for my first ultrasound, which you're like, oh my God, I'm pregnant first time, this is going to be amazing. The doctor was like, in all of my 35 years, I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, what does that mean? And he showed me the screen, and in my uterus was an infinity. It was wild, exactly infinity. And there was like a baby in one side and on the other side, I don't know. So yes, that was magical. It was wild, awful, scary, all the feelings and emotions. Once I came out on the other side, you begin to see these experiences happen for you. Right?
Wow.
When you're in it, it doesn't feel that way at all. It's like all this shit is happening to me. I am literally living in victim mode to the T. And once you allow yourself to hold space for yourself, to feel those feelings, to carve out the time and space to just feel and heal, is when you begin to see, okay, so many lessons came through, so many gifts came through, so many activations came through. This happened for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the first pregnancy. And then I guess a year and a half later is when Jack came in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My earth dad baby now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's that experience for you? We have a lot of moms who listen too, so it's always nice to hear other stories.
It is. It really is. I mean, I think motherhood is such a beautiful experience, and it's, I don't want to compare it to a spiritual awakening, but
It is though. It
kinda,
really is.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's a womanhood. It's a motherhood awakening, like a whole new archetype awakening
Yes.
within us. It's profound. And same with dads. They have their own version of it, but and
That
we
is
have the
so
whole like
true.
physical element to it.
Yes. Yes. The physical one. I love that you just said that. It's true, because for me, motherhood is like, holy fuck, I didn't expect to feel all these feelings and have all these experiences. I think in your mind, you create, for me, anyways, motherhood is like, it's going to be this way for me. And I see it being this way. And then when it's happening for you, it's like, I didn't expect this to happen. What's happening? And
Mm-hmm.
what I have been learning is to just let go of the expectations, to let go of the resistance of what you thought it was supposed to be, and to let it happen for you the way it's meant to be for you, for your
Mm-hmm.
children, and for your family.
Yeah,
So that's a
absolutely.
whole other lesson.
Oh yeah, I can relate. And yeah, my son triggered a lot of well, I don't want to say the word triggered, but he like was the catalyst. He was the catalyst for a lot of my growth and
Mhm.
for like me becoming a Reiki master and stepping
Mm.
into myself as a spiritual coach, podcast host, healer, getting into that world because like I had always been interested in it off and on. Then I went through my own, spiritual awakening, breakdown. Life is, crazy, but like knowing while I was going through it all that it was for a bigger purpose and that it was so that I could share and like help others through their processes.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing. And then I went kind of like dark for a few years because I just was like it was too much, and I just kind of like just let me just get back into society. Let me just do the things I need to do. Don't get too excited in my mind because I'm gonna go somewhere else and not come back. But
Mhm.
then like pandemic happened. Well, my baby was born. Pandemic happened a couple months later, and then and I was like, I need to share my voice. Like I don't want to be stuck here in my apartment, looking at the walls, feeling like all these people are struggling and suffering, and I can help someone with the
Yes.
anxiety that they're experiencing, a depression, whatever. So from there, it like increased and increased, and I had all of my Reiki attunements while I was pregnant with my son. So they say if you're pregnant, that the baby has the attunements naturally in them.
Oh,
And
I
I've
love
had
that.
other feedback that he's also a healer and that I'm supposed to teach him. So, and it's cute because he
Mhm.
actually started like doing chiropractic adjustments with my stepdad, just like mimicking the hand gestures. It's so
Oh,
cute.
love that.
Yeah, so it's just amazing motherhood and parenthood in general, how powerful it is. And if you're not a parent, like, you can take on that archetype or that like, you can birth ideas, you can birth projects and all of that. So you're all about like being unapologetically you and being successful in that realm. So what are some things that people can do today to start being unapologetic, to start opening up that throat chakra, to start speaking? What do you got for us?
I love that. Yes, yes, yes. So, what I want to share with that, oh, this is exciting. I'm like, where are we going to be taken down this road? So, what I want to share with you is that when we are in this state of being, of how we grew up, where we were taught to express ourselves a certain way, taught to show up a certain way, what happened is we started to suppress ourselves. We started to hide our gifts, hide our magic, hide our inner child, our pleasure, our play, our joy. We like dimmed it down and kind of shut it down. So, what I want to share with you right now, if you're in this state where it feels like you're hiding yourself, it's okay. Where it feels like you may not know who you are anymore, that's okay, right? What's beautiful is that in this moment right now, you are aware. And when you are aware is when you can begin to shift and when you can begin to make energetic shifts, choices, and decisions for you, no longer based out of desires of other people, no longer based out of fear. And so when you begin to detach from this old way of being, which is you and your safety identity, like I said before, showing up in a way to keep yourself safe from fear of judgment, fear of being unaccepted, fear of not being liked by others, you can begin to see yourself, become aware of your safety identity, and then choose to define and align with your soul essence. And so a really great step to start to live unapologetic is to become aware of your safety identity. How have I been showing up in my life, in my relationships, in my friendships, in my job, in my career, in my business, in all areas of my life, spirituality, self-development? How have I been showing up to protect myself, to keep myself safe? Where have I been dimming my light? Where have I been suppressing myself? Right? So the first step is to become aware, and then ask yourself, who am I at my core? Who am I in my soul essence? And right now I'm hearing, well, Kelly, I don't know who I am anymore. So how am I supposed to answer that question? What you get to do is follow your spiritual curiosities, follow anything that lights you up, anything that comes into your vortex that's like, ooh, this podcast that just came my way. Press play. Oh my God, this person just like showed up on Instagram. I really like their reel. Okay, see what they have to share. You know, whatever it is that's coming your way, a magazine randomly came your way in the mail, read an article, explore it. Explore something that just randomly, quote unquote, came into your vortex. Follow that curiosity and allow yourself to tap into what makes me happy? What makes me feel joyful? What makes me feel in my pleasure, in my play? How do I desire to feel? So that's the first step, which then will allow you to define your soul essence. And when I say soul essence, it's who you are at your core. It's who you are as soon as your soul was birthed into this world, before we took on other people's stories, habits, beliefs, perceptions of life. It's who you truly are, right? It could be your silly, sassy, sexy, playful, confident, fun, abundant self, whatever it is, right? Let that, I don't even want to say part of you because it is you, but let that part of you be seen. Let them be expressed. Let them come through. And if you feel the call to share your voice, share your effing voice. Speak your truth, your opinion, your thoughts, your impulses, your intuitive nudges to your friends, to your partner, to anyone. And share it without expecting a certain result or without an outcome. Share because you want to share. Right? And when you start to share, when you start to express, is when you tap back into who you unapologetically are, because you're no longer holding yourself back. You're no longer resisting yourself. You're no longer telling yourself, should I have said that? Are they going to judge me? They're not going to like me, right? Because it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. What other people think, that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. Right? So taking those little baby steps to allow yourself to live in a way that really just nourishes who you are, where you feel whole, complete, and fulfilled in who you are. Awareness, uncovering what feels good for you, and then sharing and expressing and expressing in a space that feels safe for you. Because that's huge, because so many of us don't feel safe to be our true selves because that was conditioned growing up. That, you know, for example, it could be you were younger and you wore a new outfit to school and someone was like, oh my God, you look so stupid wearing that outfit. So then you felt unsafe expressing yourself through the way you dress yourself, right? So something may have happened in your life where we then place rules around, if I show up in a certain way, express myself in a certain way, by the way I dress, by the way that I present myself, I'm going to be shamed, bullied, criticized, so I can't do that. Right? You get to become aware of the rules that you placed around how you can show up in life And then you get to create new rules for yourself. You get to dissolve those rules and dissolve that energetic charge around feeling it's not safe for me to express myself. It's not safe for me to be seen and heard in who I am. Because in the past, you may have been shut down. In the past, you may have been told you're wrong for being silly, loud, bold, expressive, right? And it's like you get to reparent yourself. You get to see yourself. You get to love yourself. And when you see yourself, it's like, I don't give a shit what other people think, because I see me, because I value myself, and because I decide that I matter. No one else gets to tell me that. Right? And then slowly but surely, again, this is a daily practice to truly embody who you are and who you came here to be, and to feel safe doing so.
I love that you said, it was funny because as you were speaking, I'm like, baby steps. And then you said baby steps. I'm like, yeah, safe space. Like, you can just do it in a safe space. Like, and then you're like, do it in a safe space. So we're connected. And yeah, and like you can start with writing in a journal. Like, that's a way that you can start. And then from there, for example, you can share with like a close group of friends. Sometimes I'll share stuff on my Instagram to the close friends list in my stories. Like if I want to vent something, or if I want to share something really vulnerable that I don't want to open myself up to criticism, or, have everybody see it, I'll just like put it in my close friends stories. And then I'll have my, people on my close friends list comment me back like, you get it, girl. Don't be afraid to share your heart. It's super encouraging so I, as I've been building my courage to share my voice, to share my messages, to share whatever, it's like it gets easier and easier. And you don't have to share everything with the world yet until you feel ready to do so. And I think it's so important to, take your time, take those baby steps, and listen to those downloads, listen to those messages that are coming through, those nudges, and they will keep coming. They will keep coming. Even if you ignore them, like, they'll come back. They say that your intuition gets stronger the more you listen to it. And when you don't listen to it anymore, you can't really hear it, but it still comes through. You just, as soon as you give it a little bit of attention, it starts to get louder and louder. So if you want to get more connected to that intuition, to that voice, just start to notice it, jot it down, share it with some close friends. And it just like, the more you let go and surrender to the process, the faster it happens too, which is another crazy thing. It's like, I want this to happen so bad. And as soon as you're just like, you know what, I give up. I'm just going to let life happen how it wants to happen. And then boom, you have what you want. It's another thing. So really great insights.
I love that. I love that you said journaling. Sometimes I forget that I have a journaling practice because it's so like my norm. You know what I mean? But a lot of the times in my journal, I write down like all the feelings that I'm feeling, all the thoughts, all the stories, all the beliefs that are in my energy, in my aura. Because when you do that is when they can start to have that energetic charge be released. And again, it's like, I feel like I can take a breath of fresh air, because these stories, thoughts, and beliefs don't have control and power over me.
Getting it on paper, out of your brain, into this different physical plane, because a piece of paper is like a plane. And I love that you mentioned getting energies out of your aura, because a lot of times they're not even in us or from us. We pick them up from other people throughout our days and lives. And if we're not energetically cleansing ourselves every day, then they can linger and they can fester and get bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden you're exploding at your husband. No, I'm just kidding. But,
But for real, yes, that does happen.
So venting and writing in journals and just like getting it out, doing energy work, doing meditation, taking a cleansing shower, just like doing the visuals, anything, you can try on different things. Google a list of how to get emotions out of my body. Dancing, moving, breathing. It's a lot of ways.
Lot of ways. Yeah. And one thing I want to share that didn't come through in that is this is what tends to keep us in the cycle of resisting ourselves. So when we are embodying our unapologetic selves and living in alignment with who we are, what I want to share is that I wish that I knew this, but I know it now, so it's fine. When you begin to express yourself as who you truly are, there's two things that can happen. You can give others permission to do the same. Wonderful. Love that. Like, hell yes, that's what we're here for. And then sometimes when you show up and express yourself as who you truly are, it almost like triggers or shines a light on others who are still in resistance to themselves and who aren't taking action towards their true desires. And so what tends to happen is that the positive side, when we are ourselves, we give permission for others to be themselves. That's what we get to focus on. But in turn, we focus on the people who we are like triggering, the people who are like, oh, fuck you. Who do you think you are? Right. And we put our energy there, which then places us back into our safety identity and resisting ourselves. So I'm sharing that with you and with those who are listening to focus on being you, giving that energetic permission slip for others to do the same, because there are going to be people in your life who it unearths this resistance to themselves. And then they like put that resistance towards you. And it makes you feel like you have to continue to hide yourself because you're not making other people happy. And then it doesn't feel safe. So you get to choose to break free from that cycle and see it as that's their own journey that they want to travel. And it's not your responsibility to take that journey for them or with them. So that's huge when allowing yourself to be unapologetically you.
Powerful, yes. It's all about the duality of life with everything. There's always a duality. There's always the alpha and omega. And this is a great example of that. So focusing on the people in your life that are supportive, that are resonant, and then just like sending love, but from a distance. I like to say to the people that it triggers and that are getting reactivated, that are, like harmful in a lot of ways. Sending love from a distance, could be family members, friends, whatever. You don't have to become a martyr for them.
Yes.
Focus on the people and places that give you joy, that feel lightness when you think about them, where you don't feel a pit in your stomach. And it's interesting. Do you ever have like right before you're about to fall asleep, you start to solve like really intense problems and then you wake up the next morning, you completely forgot about it? Or you have these like amazing insights and then you wake up later and you're like, what was that? I don't remember, but I like solved this thing. I had this visual. It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a whole phenomenon. But I had one last night and you just reminded me of it and I would like to share because it relates. And it's like, I still don't quite have the whole picture, but like I saw all of life like these, like the computer motherboards, like the computer chips that has like, there's like a plane, right? And then there's all these little pieces on it. I'm not a computer engineering person, so I don't know what they're called. But it's like when you put a little chip onto the motherboard, there's like these little lines that go from all directions, like a square. Whoops, I keep bumping my microphone. It's like a square, and then all these lines coming out of the square. And then if you've like seen the movie Tron, you know how all the lines like shoot out in all these directions energetically from the little cars. So in my visual, I saw like us as people, like for example, like you are a little microchip and you're being placed on this board, and then from this board you have all this energy just like radiating out, and it's good and bad energy, like positive, negative, whatever, alpha, omega, the duality, and it reverberates out into all the other people. And then so like the negative ions and the positive ions will reach different people, triggering different parts of these people. So no matter who you are, where you are, you're like it's going out to, all of it's going out. And you can look at everything this way, like everything can have a positive or negative. Like the financial collapse is happening. Okay, well, here's the good side of it, and then here's the bad side of it. What part of it do you want to focus on? And this visual, I think, like, because it kept trickling down, it was like, I don't remember right now that I'm like, I remember seeing the image, but the whole trickle down, it was like energy from the universe coming down to the earth, and it was like a big microchip spreading out all this energy, and then that trickling down to like an organization of people, and then that trickling down, and like, dang it, I don't remember the exact thing, but it was really cool because I saw the whole like ladder process of it going down to the atoms. And the point is, it's like, it's not good or bad that we have this duality inside of us. That's just how the universe is, and how we are as energy beings. And it's, what are you going to focus on, and what do you resonate with? That's the most important part. And you have to look at, like, there's always the front of the hand, back of the hand. That's something that my husband always reminds me of. Like, I'm complaining about something, or I'm, excited about something. He's always like, look at the other side. Whatever, if I'm excited or if I'm like upset with something, it's like, oh, you're right. Because when you look at the duality of things, and that everything has two sides to it, where can I be? Where can I stand? And that's like in the middle, in the center, and being the observer of both sides, and not attaching myself to one side or the other. So I can be with and hold love for the people in my life that resonate with me, or I can, and I can be with and hold space for the people that don't resonate with me in my life. And from there, I'm protected, I'm neutral, I'm peaceful, whatever. So
yes, I love that. Ooh, I love what just came through for you. And sharing that ties back to what I was saying in the beginning, where it's like, how are you choosing to view life? Are you choosing to view it through the lens of scarcity, lack, struggle, challenge, everything's hard, shitty? Or are you choosing to view it in a way that feels good for you, right? Like focusing on the joy and the love and the happiness and abundance. And obviously, there's both sides, and honoring both sides, and then coming back to, I am at choice.
That's powerful.
Yeah, I love that. Ooh,
Yes.
I
Good
love vision.
stuff. Yes. So you have a lot of things going on in your world. How can people work with you? How can they get a hold of you? What do you got going on?
Yes. So you can come into my world on Instagram at _badass babe. And then I also have my podcast, Badass Babe Oracle. And what we have right now is I'm hosting a live masterclass called Unapologetically You, which are the codes to be seen and heard in who you are and who you came here to be, to really feel whole and complete in who you are, showing up in your confidence, in your certainty, in all areas of your life, which feels so freeing and so light. And it's everything your soul has been craving. So that's going to be live on the 21st. And then also it's going to be available lifetime access. So come in and play. It is so amazing. If you were loving what I was sharing about safety, identity, and soul essence, we go deep and we allow you to be seen and heard in who you are, and really embody the leader that your soul came here to be, with all of your gifts, all of your magic, all of your skills. And then I also have the Badass Babe community, which you can join the wait list in there, which is my ultimate spiritual self-development hub. So much magic. Yes, I would love to invite you all into my world.
Love it. Super exciting. And I will put a link in the show notes for everyone to be able to find you easily. So, is there anything you would like to leave us with? Any last words of wisdom?
Let's see what wants to come through. Giving yourself permission to really be you, to be you fully, completely, authentically, and to really own yourself, own your desires, own your curiosities, own what it is that's coming your way, own what it is that you want to do with your life and that you desire to do with your life, living life for you rather than living life for others. And in this moment right now, giving yourself permission to put yourself first, And then everything flows and comes into alignment from there when you prioritize you and choose to live in alignment with you, with source, with universe, with your angels and guides.
Amen to that. Well, Kelly.
Amen.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing all of your words of wisdom, your experiences, and who you are as a leader, who you are as a coach, as a space holder for the world. We need more healers like you out there, so thank you for your work on behalf of the world. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Yes. Wasn't that awesome, you guys? Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody that you think would also enjoy it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, or follow it wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also on YouTube if you search the Magic Lighthouse. And I would appreciate a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you have any feedback that you'd like to share, good or bad, I'm open to all of it. You can send me an email at themagiclighthousepodcast@gmail.com. Love you all. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time.